This is not a show. This is an experience. This is PV Roundtable Talk. I'm your host, Amiri.
I'm HD.
I'm Ethan.
I'm Dr. James.
I'm Gabriel.
Y'all ready to talk about it?
Let's talk about it.
All right. So I want to go back to Dr. James. Can you give us a little bit of info about yourself?
Good afternoon, everybody. Evening. Good evening. It's good. Thanks for inviting me out. I'm Dr. James. I'm a professor in sociology. I'm also the assistant dean for student success in the College of Arts and Sciences. I specialize in studying Black men. I particularly study highly successful Black men throughout the U.S. and in an attempt to try to change the conversation that we often try to have about Black men without really talking to Black men.
Right.
Okay, so we have our sociology professor, Doctor here. And so I want to first start off with, how do you use the sociological approach in when you are approaching this topic of mental health, especially within Black men?
I think the first thing that anyone should do when discussing Black men is not try to treat us like everybody else.
Right.
And it's not because we're saying we're better than anyone else, but we're certainly not least than anybody else. But at the same time, Black men have a very unique set of experiences in this country. For example, people see us as villains, but they also see us as what's called virtuosos. They see us LeBron, then they see us as a thug on the street. There are very few people in this world with that range of viewpoint about them. And so, and then on top of that, when you look at just normal research, a lot of the stuff sees Black men through a very negative lens.
Yeah, sure.
But when you actually study the research carefully, what you find is that Black men lead the country in parenting practices among fathers. Among fathers, even when they don't live with the kids. Black fathers, we do more homework than with our kids than any other male group in the country. Black fathers attend more after school events than any other male group in the country. Black fathers ask their children more about their homework and their education than any other group in in America. So part of what we do as a sociologist is there are so much misinformation about Black men based on fear, based on stereotypes, based on racism that we have to undo so that we can create room for us to be authentically men.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that fear is, so when you say fear, like fear, I think of like fear of me expressing myself. Like at a young age, it was more so like I might be crying, anything, but first thing my mama might say, quit out that crying. You ain't supposed to cry. Yeah, as a boy. So I feel like as a young age, we get shunned out of expressing ourselves, or we don't even know how to express ourselves, or we don't know the right way of expressing ourselves. Like we ain't taught these mechanisms to cope with our emotions at a young age, which lead to a lot of trauma growing up, I feel like.
I think bouncing off of what he's saying, I got a question. Why do you think that society looks at Black men, or society looks at it negatively for a Black man to express himself or to let out them emotions and them feelings?
I kind of want to say something. I think when I think about our people in general, just Black people in general, but also Black men, we're really powerful. We're really powerful. And I really think that that's half of it right there, is because we are so powerful. They try to suppress those already. So we start at a young age with, you can, if we were able to express ourselves the way that we were supposed to and like freely, I feel like we would already be ahead of the curve in certain ways. So I just feel like because they know our power, they've been trying to suppress that for ages.
No, for real. No.
I did want to pick up on when you were saying about fear. Growing up, when we was at school, and y'all saw somebody crying, which I look at them, oh, they a crybaby.
Yeah.
Oh, they spoiled. Oh, they this and that. So a lot of times as men, it's like we can't cry. We can't sit there and cry in front of everybody because they're gonna look at us. Oh, he a little crybaby. Oh, it's like a sign of weakness almost, and they're gonna consider us. Oh, he's a crybaby. He's a punk. So it's more so to look at it when it's talking about like the fear.
And like as a man, getting mad as a man, like a Black man, might can do some crazy things. You know what I'm saying? He can knock some buildings over. And then I like the emotional response. I feel like not being able to respond emotionally gonna lead to a lot of things. Like I feel like this the number one factor. Like men not being able to respond, they not being able to respond logically, so they responding emotionally, which leads to them doing things like killing. A lot of things. I feel like this emotional response.
And that's after like suppressing for so long.
Yeah.
If you kind of get to the point where you're like, when you finally do decide to like let the emotions break free, it's extreme now.
Yeah, like you don't know not to. You can just go talk to somebody, bro. Nah, you know, I'm finna go punch a wall, or I'm finna go do this. Emotional responses instead of analytical. A lot.
Back to your question. Do you want to repeat that one more time? Because I want to make sure.
Why is it? But he basically will somewhat explained it. Like just from growing up, really everybody's saying, "Well, you a man, you can't cry, or you a crybaby," things like that. That my question was, why do you think it's looked down on for black men to express those feelings?
Let me address a little bit of this, right?
All right.
Around 1455, the Pope, Francis at the time, provided permission to begin the slave trade. Their target were black men and black women, yes? In America, we endured 9 generations of slavery. 9 generations of slavery. However, after slavery ended, in every single field that they allowed black men in, we started to dominate. We started to dominate in education and healthcare and law and politics and sports and entertainment. Part of the reason why, like, you do not feel threatened by someone who's not a threat.
Right.
Black men, I believe, are a threat to society, not because we're dangerous or anything like that, but because we have this unique ability to be great in multiple things. We can be great spiritually. We could be great public speakers. We could be great businessmen. We could be highly athletic. We could be highly approachable all at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think that's the hard thing for people to understand. Yeah, I'm a professor, but I'm also an author. I'm also a father. I'm also a husband. I'm also a business owner.
Yes, sir.
I'm also an auto mechanic. I also cut hair. I'm also a graphic artist. And I can just I also write children's books.
Talented.
No, but that ability is in every single black male that I know.
Yeah,
but it's up to y'all to pull it out. And then when we talk about, I call it the spark of black male genius, right? The spark of black male genius. But when the sisters got something unique. We got to spark together a constellation, right? Because we get it from them, to be honest, right? But there's all something unique about us within wrapped in this black body, this black male body. I call it black maleness. There's something, this essence about us that can move a nation.
Yes, sir.
That can move a country that don't want to be moved. Even if they don't want to move, there's something about our essence as black people and black men particularly that makes the unmovable possible. Right. And it's that part that they fear and that they fight because they perceive us as a threat, because they don't necessarily want to compete with someone who can do all those things. Mm-hmm. Imagine how you would feel if you enslaved the people for 9 consecutive generations, raped their women, stole the right for money off of their labor, didn't give them land, didn't give them rights, didn't give them the right to vote, hung and beat and mutilated them, but then they turn out to be just as smart as you are in just 2 generations. The first generation after slavery, the kids of enslaved Africans, they came out and closed the reading gap before the white reading gap was ever closed in 1 generation. Wow. That would spook the heck out of me if I was an oppressor. So yes, racism is a byproduct of trying to diminish excellence.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And speaking on just the fact that we talk about generational trauma a lot, but at the same time, it's like we've also, like you said, been hindered through generations, because there's the Jim Crow. After slavery was Jim Crow, and even before, you know, like more in the 20s, they had their kind of the pre-Jim Crow, and then also we had like the civil rights, and it's still going on. Then we have mass incarceration, and then we have everything that's happening now up to 2020. We're still dealing with multiple black men being killed by authority. It's still like, and the reason I say authority is because it's not even just like George Floyd and police. It's not even just like white men, like random white men. It's people from the top that are still trying to hinder us from getting there. And I think that like once we start to put that in perspective, it starts to make us think about how do we fix the generational trauma? How do we keep it from? Is there a way to even keep it from happening? If it seems like every time that we go up, there's always somebody ready to knock us back down.
Okay. A couple books I want y'all to just think about, brothers. Okay. Sisters, read these two. But don't read this first one. Don't even get the title. It's called, the one book is called No More Mr. Nice Guy. Okay. Don't read it, sisters. But No More Mr. Nice Guy is a great book because it begins to address several things like being a people pleaser. Right? Read that book.
Yeah, I'm going to read it.
The first book I want you to read, however, is a book called It Didn't Start With Me. It Didn't Start With Me. It's a great book on transgenerational trauma. And in that book, it reveals a technique to determine what parts of your personality, particularly the bad parts of your personality, that are linked to transgenerational trauma in your mother, father, grandmother, grandfather. It's an amazing book. But part of how we free ourselves from transgenerational trauma is realize this. One of the challenges we got as men, ain't got nothing to do with nobody else but black men. As we get older, our bodies get naturally stronger.
Yes, sir.
Right? We develop our own unique style. We put a lot of attention to this outward man, right? And that outward man gets stronger and more refined over time. However, there lives another man inside of us, the inner man. Right. And that inner man gets weaker over time. If we don't deal with that weaker man because of transgenerational trauma. Someone could have said to you, you'll never amount to anybody as a 2-year-old, created a small crack in your self-esteem, your self-worth, your self-image. You go to school and get an F, and your mind says, see, your father told you you'll never amount to nothing. That crack becomes, a fracture. Then you keep going, you go to college and you get on academic probation, like I did my freshman year, like I did. And then that crack that was a fracture becomes a fault line. It causes earthquakes on the outside of you. Yeah. So part of it is we got to realize that as men, we're dualistic in nature. We have an inner man and an outer man. And as you get older, you have to pay more attention to the inner man, your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your imaginations, right? You have to attend to those things. That book I told you about, It Didn't Start With You, is a great book because it tells you how to, for example, if you don't think you're worthy, that just didn't start with you, Doc. That came from somebody. Yeah, right. If you don't think you're ever good enough, that didn't start with you. That came from somebody. Go find where it came from and then tell yourself the truth about that situation. I am worthy. Yes, but it's going to require, brothers, it requires, just like it takes time to get our hair right, it takes time to get your emotions right as a man. Yes, listen, I fast every day. Why do I fast 15 to 20, 23 hours a day? Why do I do that? Because as a black man, when I don't feed my body, I am feeding my inner man. Yes, I read every day. Last year, I read like 150 books because I was pouring into myself new knowledge. If you are not feeding your inner man, you are just giving yourself over to the demons of transgenerational curses. Yes, and men only become men when we put to death the demons of our youth. I'm going to say it one more time. Men only become men when we put to death the demons of our youth. Low self-esteem, preying on women. I said it out loud. I did.
Yeah, for real.
The lack of hard work and focus, right? Trying to manipulate people rather than being honest, right?
Yes, sir.
So those are demons that come after us in our youth to stunt our potential. But when we can put those things to death, then the real man emerges because the boy is put to bed.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Gotta sit with that for a second.
Yeah, we gotta see.
But honestly, one thing that, especially the last part about letting go of those transgenerational demons, is a lot of times when we get on social media, especially like Black community, there's those pockets of places that have kind of that keep holding us back, and they're like cesspools of just like ignorance, and that's when you see those traumas start to go in, because that's when those ideologies that we're trying to get rid of start to go into, like, even like when you kind of go into the shade room or Jasmine Brand Neighborhood Talk, whatever, they have created these spaces where we're stunting the growth, and it's our own people stunting our own growth. And it's like, how do we get past that without, do we get rid of them, or do we try to change?
I think we get rid
I
of
think we get rid of them, because I was gonna say, like, a lot of people use that social media really made a nick. I feel like people didn't think it'd get this bad. Like, I feel like people get on social media, and men, there's probably their time where they can let all of it out. Even when I play the game, you get on the headset online, you should just hear the things these grown men saying.
Okay.
You know, these grown men saying this. So I feel like this is where they comfortable with. This when they can release all these inner feelings, like stuff like that. But we don't know where to go to release it out. So, you know, I get on the game, I get on there, I say all this hateful stuff. But it make me feel better now, because I actually got it on my chest. I know people, they lose, I'm gonna go blow some steam off. They hopping on the game, you know what I'm saying? But these the ways that this how we know how to cope. Cause it always go back to the beginning. When I don't know how to cope with my emotions, you know, and all I know is my best friend is the game. So I'm a grown man, I'm still playing the game. Cause this how I know how to release some of my emotions, how I feel.
Right. And I would say, like, to pick up off of that, have you ever like been chilling with your homeboys, and like you been like you was feeling down? Yeah. It's like you get around your homeboys, and like they bring it up out of you. And it's just like, as men, we could kind of like vent to like our homeboys and stuff. Hey, listen. And then so I feel like more so like playing the game that kind of coach with you, listen to music that kind of coach with it. Then it's just like putting yourself like in an environment around, because like everybody not for to listen to you. Everybody don't want to hear like what you mad about, everything like that. So it's more so like you gotta put yourself in the environment where like people want to actually like hear, and see what you got to say and everything. Sure. So I say putting yourself like around the friends, gang, stuff like that. That's how we cope.
Yeah.
And put yourself being that friend as well is important. Because I was just at a panel yesterday. We're talking about when your friend is down, or when you're down, you have to have people around you that are there to pick you up. You have to have people around you who are in the same mindset, who can see your vision and see your goals and be like, no, you gotta keep going, but I'm gonna help you get up. It's the same way I feel like with men. We gotta make sure that we start paying attention to our friends. We start paying attention to the other men in our life, because we gotta be the person to be like, hey, I see where you at right now. I got to get you up, so that in turn, when it's your turn to have your time, you're also having those people to be like, hey, you're going to be good. We got you.
Right.
We got you.
And I was just going to add on to what he was saying. And then we also got, like he said, it was 9 generations of slavery. We might just need to also realize that the attack is on us. Like, maybe we just don't realize the attack is on us.
We've been taking that attack for a long time. And it's time to reverse the attack, because I'm not even on no passive stuff anymore. We gotta keep going up, and we're gonna keep going up after this roundtable roundup. All right, welcome back, guys. I know we are missing our guest, but he gave us some really awesome bits. But I want to first, after all of that, I want to first ask y'all, what is your definition of a man?
Y'all can start.
They gonna give it to me. Well, to me, my definition of a man is a strong person. A strong person. And when I mean strong, I'm talking about mentally and physically. But some might like it physically, but
Spiritually, too.
spiritually,
For sure.
you gotta be a leader, a leader, fearless. Cause like who gonna go downstairs when they hear that big thump downstairs? They gonna be looking at daddy. You know what I'm saying? So I believe you gotta be fearless, strong, a leader, and you just gotta be courageous, bold, strong.
Yeah, I
Those are
agree.
traits, characteristics of
Yeah,
a man.
I
For
think
me.
that you really hit it on the head. Somebody who can just lead by example.
Yeah.
You don't really got to say too much, but like your aura come off as like, strong mentally. It don't really got to be about physically,
Yeah.
but mentally and spiritually. I think if you there, like, it's a real thin line, really, with what you can say. But he really hit it.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically what he said, just everything that come with a man, like being able to provide, like you said, what you was going into about the family. Like I look up to my pops, right? Provided, right? Even when he wasn't there, when he was, he provided. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So he was a leader, right? Lead by example, things like that.
Right. I would say more so for a man. Think about it. You have a family.
Right.
Who your kids look up to? You. What
Right.
you got to do as a father? You got to protect. You gotta lead by example. You can't show no fear. Like he said, if you hear knock downstairs, you can't be like, who finna go check that? You got to be the person to go downstairs and check that.
No, for real.
So I would say leading by example, being there for your family, providing, and then also holding your kids accountable
Yeah,
and showing them what it's like to be a good role model, so they can grow up and do the same thing.
most definitely.
I agree.
I think for me, one of the things that being a man is taking care of the responsibilities that you've put in your life. So
Right.
from that being family, from that being academics, from that being just people that you have in your life, it's important, especially as a man. You are. I'm kind of thinking of a man as the backbone. If we're thinking about a
Yeah.
human, it's not always like the person that's doing everything, but they're the person that's keeping you up straight. They're the person who's kind of aligning you in a way, and that's what a man is to me. It's the person who you can always fall back on.
Yeah.
But I think what can be hard about that, and even when you said, you have to show no fear, what's hard about that, especially in the sense of a father figure, if you don't see your father have those vulnerable moments, then you kind of forget, or you don't even know that you're able to show vulnerability at those times.
Right.
I think it's important though, as a man, to let, like you say, if I'm never showing it, but I also think it's important as a man to let it be known that you do face these things. Like it's okay, you know what I'm saying? But you can't really show. I can't say that. You can show it. Cause I would say you can't show it, but I feel like it should be okay to show it. But like I say, it also, you gotta understand
There's a time and place for
time and place.
everything.
Yeah, it's a time and
Mhm.
place for it all. Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, because a lot of times when I say as black men, when we show emotions, it comes out as aggressive. Just like we could talk, like when I was talking about the George Floyd situation, and everything. When we show emotions to the like signs of frustration to the police, what they think? Oh, he's aggressive. He's finna try something.
Yeah.
So I feel like more so we preserve our emotions. And as a man, I feel like a lot of times we all have like that's when like relationships come involved. The significant other, everybody don't really see your true self, but like that one person that you with, you show your true colors to them. So I feel like more so with emotions and installing it with the family, you're gonna have to kind of like show it, but you can't show.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to like show like emotions, especially like as a man
When it's time to deal with something.
Yeah.
it's a sign of weakness sometimes.
Yeah.
Everybody perceive it as. So.
Right. Like I remember one time, for example, I was in my papa funeral. Everybody was crying, but I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna be the one crying, because who gonna take care of the people that's crying? You know, like this just feel like a responsibility as a man.
But like,
yeah,
how does that make you feel?
How
Because
does it
now
make
it's
you feel?
like I can't show what's going on with
Yeah.
me because I got to worry about everybody else. Who's gonna worry about you?
Who's gonna worry about me? Nah, for real. That's the
I
question.
think nobody think about that.
Nobody think about that.
You just push through it. Like I got myself, really.
Yeah.
Like I got me.
I got me.
Yeah.
And I feel like they just come with being a man. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like you know what you like, being a man, I don't think is easy. I think being a man is hard work. Like you gotta do the things nobody wanna do. I feel like yeah, like you say, you gotta provide.
Yeah.
You gotta protect. People really don't want to do though. Like I know a girl don't want to do it. I know, but I'm the man, so I'm gonna have to do that.
And
you
it
know?
that kind of comes with just like the way that we've all been taught, the way of like just what's the word, like patriarchy, but also just the roles that we assumed as what masculinity is and what femininity is and how
facts.
you're supposed to express those things in the household or in the real world.
Right.
I feel like that has jaded how we deal with things because we kind of made masculinity to where you just got to do everything, or you gotta be that person all the time. And especially now, I feel like we got to realize that we're not in the same circumstances to where the man has to be everything, but there's still that expectation sometimes.
Right.
And I think that's what makes it hard for us to let go of what has been put up on us.
Right. I would say a lot of times with being a man, it's a lot on our plate, especially with the family. But without the family, just say for instance, you got to beat that stigma. Oh, I got to make it past 21. I got to be something in life. I got to be better than my parents. So it's already hard on us. And then especially, I'm just saying with the color of our skin, it's kind of hard for us to get those type of higher positions.
Right.
So we got to work extra times harder. So it's already hard. And then just say with a family, you got to provide for not just you. You got to provide for your wife and your kids. And think about it. While you out working, your kids want you to come to the games. You can't come to all the games because you're out there providing. If you go to the games, you're gonna stop providing, and then your kids ain't gonna have nothing. So it's hard for a father as a black man. You know what I'm saying? Being a black man, it's hard.
Really.
But all that just builds up, and it's just emotions, until it's just
yeah.
snap.
And then the thing, as a man, you don't think emotionally, you think logically, analytically. So I really can't be too caught up in how I feel about something or how I'm feeling, because it'll go into I start like doing things out of emotion and not doing things the right way. Like you say, if I feel bad because I ain't making my kids game, I'm gonna miss work. Now I lose my job. Now my kids probably can't even play because I can't even pay. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. But this is off of your emotions rather than logic. You know, so people that I think we just gotta understand and separate the differences like between the two.
I think with this conversation we got, what y'all think the importance? We could talk about the importance of male figures and mentors and young males, right? Young black males in our lives as young kids growing up. What was the effect of mentors on y'all, if you had any?
I think it was important. Like my football coach, basketball coach, like when my mama couldn't do it, they was the ones that'll step up and do it. So they gave me like a definition of man, you know, importance of a mentor or a man.
I think my like thinking about my father, especially because he was in the military, so that it kind of comes with its own set of different challenges and benefits and all of that. But I think it was hard sometimes because a man will be so focused on being a father that he'll and the father in the sense that I got to do this, I got to provide, I got to do the things that I'm supposed to do. We kind of forget those other things that really make a male figure in your life important. And sometimes that's being able to be there for your son or for your daughter when they're having those times, when they're having those points where they don't know how to express themselves or they don't know how to deal with the situation. And I think because my dad, he worked a lot. He would do his regular job, and then especially as I got older, he started to do some other things to make sure that we could grow, to make sure we could not stay stagnant with where we are, but grow to be more financially free, for us to not have to worry about things in the future, and also to, put us also in the mindset. But I think I see more now the importance of having not only a figure in your life, but you can't, even though you might see an example of what a man is supposed to be, you don't have that man in your life to guide you all the time.
Right.
And I think the guidance is what's really important.
Right. Since we on this topic, I know it might get a little touchy and everything, but I just want to ask each one of y'all: do y'all feel like the child receive enough like emotional support, like for y'all mental, like well-being up to this point?
I think personally, not really, just because of like the toughness it is, like being raised in a man,
Right.
right? So it's like no emotion, no crying, taking whoopings, trying not to cry to show you
Yeah.
tough. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So from anybody, but I don't think so. I think for me personally, it came after a point where it was like I was in secluded by myself. And I was just like, man, I couldn't even take it no more. It's like
Man.
I gotta just like release.
Let
Yeah.
it
You know
out.
what I'm saying? Because it never happened from the 18 years I was living with my people to when I'm out on my own. I'm
Yeah.
moving all the way, and I'm just like, man, I can't even hold this weight on my
Man,
shoulders
yeah.
no more. You know what I'm saying? But
I think for me, like I was just kind of saying, but even more, I'm also say no, especially like emotionally with my mental health, especially as I kept like once you get in those teenage years, and that's when your mental health starts to really like show itself, and
Yeah.
that's when your childhood also starts to show itself. And I started dealing with a lot of anxiety, and sometimes it would be to the point where I'm having like full on anxiety attacks where I can't control what's happening. And there were a lot of times where that stuff was used against me. And even coming to college, and just being on my own, and even the decision to like where I wanted to live, it was like, who's gonna be there to help you when you have those types of things? And I'm like,
right,
y'all weren't even there.
Right.
right.
And that,
And
yeah,
this
Nah,
is
that's
this is
real.
this is another
Nah.
thing before y'all go ahead. I think with the emotional support for me, it was like I didn't really want it. You know what I'm saying? Like just because like I just had this so tough thing about me that like not that was built into me. That was just like I don't care if you telling me I could tell you anything. I'm not gonna tell you.
Yeah, I'm a thug
Just,
it
That
out.
just
yeah.
I'm gonna thug it out and I'm good. Like
Yeah.
so like that's real. Like when it's like oh no I'm good. Like people think oh you just saying that. But nah, like I'm gonna be fine.
Yeah.
And then once you do that on your own so much, you don't really care if you get
Mhm.
emotional
You
support
get
or
numb
not.
to it.
Cause it's like I'm cool.
Yeah.
If it take me a minute to get through it, I'm gonna get through it. But I don't need no help to get through it.
Yeah.
That's what's
Nah,
I'm
for real.
sorry.
Nah,
This
you
is
good.
what's so frustrating. Like, especially with the relationships that I have now with men in my life. Um, one of my friends, I get like so frustrated because I can tell that he's kind of gone through the same thing of where it's just like, nah, I'm gonna be good. I gotta go because like even like mental exhaustion and physical exhaustion, he doesn't like. There's times where he doesn't even realize like, bro, like you not good, and you probably need somebody just to release that on,
Yeah.
and not on no like I'm giving you my burden, but like I can help you hold it for a second. But like some people don't even like, they're to the point now like you said where it's just like I'm gonna be good.
I'm gonna be good.
I don't even want
Nah,
that
for
help.
And that's built into us through society,
Through
like
society.
through society, and it's just like seeing the toughness, like seeing like men that's talked about from expressing themselves and expressing their feelings, and then just seeing people growing up being talked about in school. Like I was a victim. I called people crybabies too. I'm like, what you crying about? I don't cry. You know what I'm saying? But it was like stuff like that. Like I'm gonna thug it out. Like I'm
Yeah.
tough. Like
Yeah.
Nah,
that's how it was being a kid,
Yeah.
and it hurts now. It sucks now because it's like man. Sometimes you be wanting to talk to somebody, but it's like you can't.
You don't know
You
how.
it really won't even come out of you, even if you try it. It just don't feel right talking to somebody.
Yeah, nah, for real. Yeah, I was gonna say, like I say, nah, I'm no too. Like, man, probably about like 2 or 3 months ago, bro. I was just thinking one day. I was like, bro, really nobody really care about you. They really just care about what you gotta do. Like they care, like, sometimes you can feel like as a man, you can feel like useless. Like, people only care about what you gonna do. Like I was saying, like people don't call, people might not call you, people might not check up on you, but they worried about they checking on if you doing good though and what you doing. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all actually, like if I was to say I don't want to do none of this no more, who gonna be there for me to say, nah, keep going, you good, you know? But I'm getting beat, like you was saying earlier, those demons are after you at a young age, and they just keep growing. And if they never taken care of, then they'll get bigger than you. You know what I'm saying? People actually might be really fighting demons.
Right. Like with me, bro, I don't even remember the last time I cried for real. Like I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, that's
Like,
crazy.
I be like, you know how you be like so like depressed and like yourself, and you be like want to cry but you can't.
Yeah.
That's how
Facts.
like the toughness part. Like I grew up, I had you know how older brother. You know what I'm saying? I can't show no weakness to the older brother. You gotta fight your older brother.
You
and stuff
got
like
to.
that. So I'm going to school, same thing. Why is you crying? This, that, the other. So like as I got older, it's just like I be wanting to open up like the people, bro. But I just honestly don't know how to open up to people. And then like it's real. It's like it's real tough. And then like for me, I would say like because I grew up without a mother. So it's just like when Mother Day and stuff be rolling around, I be thinking to myself like, dang, I wonder how that feels like that. You know what I'm saying? I actually had that mother figure and everything. So it's hard. I ain't gonna lie, it's hard. So I would say like for me, I would say no.
Yeah.
Even though like I had the great role model in my life, it's just like he couldn't do everything for me. He couldn't support me like you know because like he remarried after my mom passed.
Okay.
And so seeing him giving like more attention to kids that need it. I didn't like see it that way at the time. It was just like, dang, you giving more attention to them. And I'm
yeah.
So it's just like growing up now and just like learning and seeing like they actually like needed that more attention than I did, but I didn't see it at the time. So it's really like that hurt me too. So it's just like,
and then another thing, it hurt those around you too. Like you was talking about. Like for me personally, like my girl want me to tell her everything, and I'm just as quiet as a mouse. Like I'll go in the bathroom and cry before I say anything to anybody. Right. So it was a situation that had happened. Right. It went as far as like I lost a family member. I'm like, oh, I'm good. Like I'm straight. I'm dusted off and I'm gonna keep going. And she like bugging me, like, nah, like you it's okay. Like it's okay if you show emotion. Like I'm like, nah, I'm straight. And it took me for like that weight gets so strong to where it started messing up the things that you're doing in your life. Right. And then it's like you really gotta get it out.
Right. Somebody gonna be like, hey, yo, what's going on? For real. Like
because you might be straight for that point of time. But one of those days, it really gonna hit you.
It's gonna come.
Especially if they keep bringing it up, because you be like, I'm good. Because I be lying to the parent, like, I'm good, bro. I'm trying to tell you. But then you get by yourself, you be like,
it's obviously
that's serious. That's serious. Like I had them days in high school, bro, all the time. Like because it was just so much going on for me. Like all through high school, it was like, man, I used to just be tough with it. And then one day, bro, I'm walking down the stairs, bro. I'm walking to lunch out of nowhere. My eyes just real talk just get balled up with tears, fool. Like, and I couldn't even hold it. I'm like, bro, I don't know where this coming from. And I go straight to the bathroom. I'm just like, bro, what the, you know what I'm saying? Like, where this coming from? But it's like just the weight, just over time, bro. I was 16, so it's like, man, what could a 16-year-old be dealing with at that time, right? And it's just like the weight of stuff on your shoulders that you can't deal with, that you really do want to talk with somebody about.
How do y'all think that affect like relationship? As far as like, because y'all know y'all see a lot of black men going to jail behind killing, you know what I'm saying, killing his family, then killing himself. Like, how do y'all see like emotions and everything involved with that?
I think it play a big role. Because you know a lot of people, stuff like that, if you don't get it out, you can go crazy. Like, seriously. Doctor, he said them demons, they chasing after you. The devil real. And he put thoughts in your head that you probably would have never thought about. Right. So you may have them intrusive thoughts. Oh man, what it would be like if I just do this, do that, and you may go with it one time, and that's gonna put you in jail. Like, and it's like you gotta stay clear mentally, right? You know what I'm saying? You gotta stay focused. And I think really, I don't want to. I be every episode I gotta put God into it, but for real, that's like you gotta. It's all God, bro. Like he said, them demons after you every day. So you can't fight them demons by yourself. It say ain't nobody stronger than the devil but God.
That's what I'm
saying. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's the thing right now. It's like that's why some of them things is happening. You see people flashing out, killing their family, flashing out, going on killing sprees.
They be crashing
It's because they don't got nothing to really lean back on. Like before I do any of that, I'm gonna get on my knees and I'm gonna pray, or I'm gonna put up the verses I got on my phone and I'm gonna question everything and figure it out. Okay, I know that's not right.
You know that's why I feel like a lot of men are like hesitant to like open up to like their other significant other, because it's like when you put that much trust into that person and just say, for instance, they play with your heart, they just say they cheat on you or something, that's gonna trigger your mind, because it's like you to put so much into that person, like you told that person so much about you, and for them to just betray you like that, it's just
for real. Me personally though, I feel like I got emotion. I feel like the emotional response in a man has been a detriment of the black community. So like that's just a problem, like as a man. But man, so like I feel like a lot of men doing things out of acting out of emotion because they ain't never been able to express their emotions. And it's really starting to become a problem, I feel, in the community. So this is like major. This is major.
I feel like it's not even just the black community.
Yeah.
It's everybody.
Everybody.
Because you see
I
these
can say
kids,
that.
you see these schools getting shot up,
Yeah.
and these
Yeah.
is kids.
These are kids.
And it's
man.
like, what you think going on mentally for them?
Yeah.
Like the demons after you every second of the day.
Mhm.
And you see 15, 16, 17-year-old kids trying to kill everybody in the
Yeah.
school. Going through. It was in like in Dallas last year at Allen Outlet.
Yeah,
Wow.
Allen Ellis.
And
Yeah.
it's like, bro, I've been in that outlet before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what
And
I'm
they
saying?
go
Like,
back to
what
that mentor though.
consumes your mind to like go to that place. That means it's like
Yeah.
you've just got so much going on in your head, in your mind, and it's like if you get to the point where you go to the extreme, that means that there hasn't been anybody before that has been able to see the signs in you. And I think that's another thing
Mhm.
that people need to pay attention to are the signs of different mental health struggles going on and
Right.
how that looks in different people, because how it might look in somebody that's white or how it might look in a woman is not the way it's going to look in a man.
Right.
But I think there were times where like I've seen like stuff will happen and like you can kind of see the whole face kind of just like tense up, switch up, but they're just trying so hard not to to express that it starts being a burden on the mental instead of
Right.
being a burden expressively or outwardly. It's a burden inwardly. And I think the reason why mental health is so important is because it's not just about you, and it's not just about like even just the people around you. It can also be about your space.
Yeah.
It can also be about your body. Like physically your body can start to react when you don't take care of yourself mentally.
Right.
It all starts with like your brain tells your body what to do. If your brain can't even function properly because you're suppressing so much, you're not even going to be able to do the things that you are supposed to do. And like that's what you said about how you start messing up on stuff. You start
Right.
everything that you are supposed to be doing or that you have to do, you kind of start like faltering, like everything, like it might start real little. And that's one of them signs when you start, it's little things that start happening, and all of a sudden you messing up on the big things. All of a sudden you can barely function. You in the bed, your room a mess, you not even getting up, you ain't taking a shower in a couple days. Like it's stuff like that. People don't even like realize how it takes a toll
Right.
on everything.
Hey, I don't want it on me. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I used to put like sometimes, bro, I feel down. I put it like a blanket up over my window, bro. And so it's dark, you know. I'm like, bro, I don't know why I feel this way. I feel tired. I feel this. I feel that, bro. I take the blanket off. I just start feeling like, you know, everything could just change, bro. So, but like how you was just saying, like your room may not be clean, stuff, all this stuff alter you. Like it mess with your mind.
It
Yeah,
mentally
your
goes,
environment
right?
for real.
Your association, like stuff like that. My
Yeah.
mom used to tell me that because I used to just sit in the dark. 'Cause I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't really want to see the light. But
Real
then you
talk.
feel lazy, you feel like
Mhm.
depressed, you start thinking about stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like your association with them darker colors is what dark feelings and bad feelings.
Mhm.
Right.
So when you're around them, you in a room, an all gray room, what's associated with that color?
Yeah.
People feeling down, people feeling, you know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
that's real.
But you know, sunlight, what's associated with that? Happiness,
Happiness.
energy. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Yeah.
stuff like that. Little do you know, it plays a role
It
in your
plays a
in your
role.
in your brain, and you thinking about that stuff without even knowing you thinking about it.
Mhm.
But another thing you was going back to was
Yeah.
the mentor, how that play a role
Yeah.
mentally.
Facts.
Mentor like with mental health and these kids, like I was saying, going out here and doing all this crazy stuff.
Yeah, like you gotta have that. Yeah, you had that mentor there. I feel like that mentor there is for that room for correction. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Or like you say, if I
That
feel
healthy
these, that
snatch you up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or if I'm sad, hey man, it's okay. Everybody good with it. You
Yeah.
know, ain't nobody there actually feeling those roles. So that mentor important.
And I would say, like, even so, like, you ain't even necessarily got to be no mentor to the person.
Right.
Just checking up on the person does so much. Because I can
Mhm.
say, like, from experience, I'm not going to disclose his name because, you know, I respect his family. But I had a friend that went here when I first transferred here. We was like, then, you know what I'm saying? He good people. I always show up that smile every time. But then, so we go over the break over when we had the little COVID break, we had to go back home.
Yeah.
Went home back home, and then I remember waking up like one morning, and then like the group me, they was just like so passed away,
Mm.
and I'm like, what you mean he passed away? And then cause I was like, the name sounds familiar, and then like you know how you match names with faces, I said nah, not him. Cause we was talking about what we was gonna do next semester and stuff like that. So it's just like the little things. I still feel accountable to this day. I don't know why, but I feel like I could have did more to prevent that. I could have been like, "Hey, bro, you actually good." Just because you smiling don't mean that you're good on the inside.
Yeah.
So I feel like more so now with the mentor and everything going on, we just need to check on one another, check on your friends. Be like, "Hey, bro, you good? You good?" You know
Speaking on that, bro,
it's the
like,
little things.
my bad to cut you off, but speaking on that, bro, like with my partners and everybody I grew up with, right? Man, I check on them like just because I know how serious mental health is, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I check on them like, bro, y'all good, cause like we all the same age, like everybody going through something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like everybody going through something, and I think like it don't take for you to have a deep, close friendship with somebody to check on them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I check on, and it's like my thing is just like I kind of had to get out of my head and stop thinking about myself because it's like I'm checking on you, everybody else. Ain't nobody checking on me.
Ain't nobody checking.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like, man, they go back to that. I got me.
Right.
Let me make sure they straight, because I don't want them to go off the wall and do some crazy stuff. And I'm like, man, I could have picked up that phone
Mm-hmm.
and said, "What's up? You good? What's your mind? What you thinking about today?" You know what I'm saying? Things like that. So like, I think that's the importance. Like, you gotta talk to your people.
And I think also something that's important is utilizing the spaces that are like not always the most conventional in a way, or something like sometimes it's not a therapist at first, because I do think therapy is very important and you need a professional help sometimes. But there's those spaces that you have like this one, even where it's unconventional, it's random people, but you felt comfortable enough to tell them things that are going on. Even like I know sometimes you'll be on the phone and somebody be like, "Hey, how are you?" "Oh, I'm good." And then, you know, when you really start to get to talking and they got 503 things going on, and it's like you kind of have become that person that they're at least comfortable with, trying to letting that guard down. And it's even like barbershops, that's been a really big place where men, especially black men, are comfortable in spaces, like they're comfortable in the space enough to where they can let go of the things. They can have that chair is kind of like that crutch of their weight.
Therapy.
Like
It's really
it's real therapy.
Real therapy. I tell people that all the time, bro. When I go get a haircut, bro, it's just like releasing something. Like just sitting there getting a haircut is just therapy, fam.
Hey, even though like, bro, even talking to like, cause I just got a cut. I'm talking to my
fresh,
barber,
bro.
bro.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, bro. You know what I'm saying? But I talk to my barber, bro. I'm just chopping it over him.
Yeah.
I see you do it every 2 weeks. Like we not close friends,
Mhm.
but that still do something for me. You know what I'm saying? I get in the chair, he like, "How you doing? You good, bro?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, bro, appreciate you for asking." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, I'm straight, bro. You good? And we, just chopping it up, stuff like that, that make people feel good. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to ask everybody here, since we're here right now, how are you good?
Yeah, I'm straight.
I'm good, fam.
Hey.
Like I done got to the point, even though I say I'm numb to the pain, it's like it takes a lot for me to just actually like just go into like mental depression or something like that.
Right.
I'm at the point where it's like I know how you be saying, like how you be like, "Oh, I'm good. I don't need nobody. I got myself." It's like once you start building your relationship with God, bro, you like you ain't got no word to be stressing for it. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, that's real.
I feel like, and another thing, I know we gotta go to commercial and all, but like I feel like personally, because when I ain't had nobody to lean on, I leaned on God. So now it's like, even if I don't got nobody, I don't really need nobody because I got God. So it's like I appreciate you trying to be there for me, but I don't really ain't nothing you can tell me that's gonna be better than what God gonna tell
that's
me.
real talk.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like I appreciate it, but I don't really need it. Yeah. So it's like it made stuff like that where it's like, okay, yeah, I'm cool in this space by myself, right? Learning about myself and going through them dark times by myself, because I got the only person that you ever gonna need with me. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
All right, and so we are about to head to commercial. We'll see you after. All right, and we are back after our break. We had some really good conversation. I think one of the biggest points for me, and I think we all kind of got something out, was just talking about how to really. I really like when we was talking about our rooms. Like I feel like the spaces that we create for ourselves and that we have is something that's really important and something that really can affect both positively and negatively our
Right.
mental health.
Right, most definitely.
I agree, man. I think it was a great conversation. I
Man.
think it was anybody else. Y'all got anything y'all want to add?
Hey, I feel like another thing, bro. I feel like men becoming more like weak, but I think it's due to like the food DNA mutation or something. You
So
know
you
what
think
I'm
they
saying?
putting something in the food?
Yeah, I think they chemically
thinking about
doing
that
something.
too, bro.
Cause you gotta think these like people growing in ways that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? They might be doing some things in the lab, but hey, who are we to know?
That's
I don't
like,
know.
but that's like that movie they clone Tyrone. Y'all seen it?
No,
No, I have
Like,
not.
see, y'all gotta check that out,
Man,
bro.
I've
They
been-
when they was eating and it was
Mhm.
altering their mind
yeah,
for them to live according to the
to how they want.
agenda that right the people, I ain't gonna put their names out there, or but that them people want us to live by. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So yeah, people may be thinking
They-
you talking about the ingredients.
No,
but the stuff, some things like I think that may be true.
You
But you
could,
got to watch the movie to understand what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
it's like thinking about it that they target like chicken. Everybody eat chicken. I ate chicken today,
man.
right? And then
Man.
the amount of stuff that we eat, like when we start getting woke,
It's,
right?
it's little stuff that's been happening, and
Little
like
stuff.
just they've been targeting, especially in America. Like they
Yeah.
just like our diets are like actually like really bad,
You know what I'm saying?
and that's like another thing that kind of ties into
yeah,
like mental health, even because like
Yeah.
we can't even control what's going in our bodies in the same sense.
Yeah.
We can't even control how we
And we
act.
don't
and that's
even
giving
know.
us the feelings we might be
And
feeling.
we
you know?
don't
we
know.
don't
We
even know what's
know.
really
I don't
going
know
on in
who
our
we
body. We
is.
just know we like it.
We just know we like
We
it.
just
Nah,
know we
for
like
real. And that might be the poison right there.
That might be
Man.
it because we eat it so much.
Yeah.
Because I'm addicted to candy.
I like some chicken. I'm finna
I
some
eat
chicken
that
on
every
there.
day.
So,
I'm-
what?
Hot sauce. Everybody addicted to hot sauce.
Noodles.
Y'all, they getting us
They
right here.
infiltrated.
The feds are listening.
Let us chill. But nah.
But nah, for
Overall
real.
though, it was a pretty good conversation, man. Everybody just gotta, like you say, check in on your peeps. Stay strong.
Yeah.
Put God first.
Be
Gotcha,
okay
and
with
be
not
okay.
being strong.
That's it right
Because
there.
you're gonna have your times where it's not about you being strong, it's about you being healthy
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
and always possible.
And stop worrying about social media.
Yeah,
Put the
delete-
phone down.
Delete social media.
Don't be a
Just
people
give it up.
pleaser.
Live a real life.
Yeah.
Nah, for real.
Give it up.
I'm not deleting my social media.
Yeah. Stop trying to be a people pleaser.
People pleasing.
You
That's
can't
a big
please
one.
everybody.
Stop trying to please social media.
And
Mm,
social media.
Come on
Yeah.
now.
We
Stop
stop
trying to
trying
put on a
please social
persona. They
media.
put on a
Yeah,
persona. for
not even
yeah.
people pleasing.
Yeah.
Stop trying to please your followers.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? With that, I think even with that, no cap.
All right, y'all. Well, this is not a show. This is always an experience. This is PB Roundtable Talk, and we'll see you next time.